Resume. Okay. So I found you have been completed your degree in 2018, correct?
Right, right.
So you are still looking for a job or you have experience?
I am looking for job in IT field now.
Yeah.
Before this, I was teaching students for competitive exam,
Oh,
for bank exam.
okay, okay. So from when you are starting this front-end development courses and all, how much time it you taken?
Uh, for practicing this React HTML, this one.
Mm-hmm. Means how many time you are means how long you are learning all these things that I'm asking.
Last 4 to 5 months.
Okay. I can see that you have knowledge about HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, and React tools, correct?
Sorry.
I can see in the technical skill HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React.js, and React tools, correct?
Yeah, correct, correct.
So what I can do for you. So we'll start with for JavaScript and directly React.js. So we'll skip for HTML, CSS. That is not important as compared to JavaScript and React.
Okay, okay,
So
okay.
we'll
Fine,
start
fine.
with yeah. So another time we can take interview for the HTML, CSS as well. No problem for that. For this interview, we can take interview for only JavaScript instead. JavaScript and React.js.
Okay, okay, okay. No problem.
Okay. So
Okay,
we'll be starting first JavaScript, then we'll move to the React.
okay, fine,
Okay.
fine,
So
fine.
yeah. So do you know how many data types do we have in JavaScript?
Primitive data types and
Yes,
what?
non-primitive.
Yeah.
So do you know what are the different data types of it? Primitive and non-primitive. That I'm asking.
Uh, Integer and boolean,
Yes.
number, string. That are all primitive data types.
Yeah, correct. And what about non-primitive?
Non-primitive. What to say? Sorry.
Okay. So you might heard about array and object.
Yes.
Okay, so these are the non-primitive.
Okay, okay.
Okay. So have you heard about hoisting in JavaScript?
Sorry.
Hoisting.
Yeah.
So what is it?
Uh, in JavaScript was the use of what's that? And before initializing any variable, we before initialization we after ES6 we got late and constant.
Yes,
Before that
correct.
we have only variable where we only have where uh, uh, mm, through which we can before define any variable we can use it,
Yes,
but that is not the same thing with late and constant.
correct. So basically what happens, so I will give an answer as well as a part of this interview. So, okay, so what will happen when you write some variable into the JavaScript, okay. So if you are not assign any value to it, so it will be undefined by default because of hoisting, okay. So you can access that variable before its declaration as well because of hoisting, okay. So this is hoisting works for the var. Okay, and if you are using an latent const, so it will be not going, it will be hoisted, but it will be not in the part of the global. So it will be in the script. So because of
Okay,
that, you are not able to access latent const before its declaration. So this is the difference between both latent const and versus var in terms of hoisting.
okay.
Okay, so do you know what is the drawback of var? So means why we have got a late and const in ES6 means what is the need of both? We can do same thing with the var as well.
Yes, but the variable which we declared with where
Mm-hmm.
can be altered in we can say in other function also, or we can say in our program in later we can update that variable which declared with where.
Okay. Yeah, correct. That is correct. So what will happen? Suppose I create one function and inside that I create variable var I, okay, in the for loop. Okay, and after that
Okay.
I am trying to access that same I after the for loop. So what will happen? Where I equal to 0. So if we have loop till 4 or 5, so I get incremented each time. Okay. And after for
Yes,
loop,
yes,
if you try to access that I, so you will get the latest value, not the whatever you have initialized. So
yes.
with the help of late and const, we get rid from these things. So that are used most of the time. So what is the difference
Okay.
between late and const?
Constant variable, const means the variable which constant cannot be changed by in any chance, and let we can reassign the value.
Correct. So, but if we have object, okay, so constant object equal to first name Arbas, last name Khan. So if I do object dot name first name as a UI, then can I reassign that value of first name?
Sorry, but what question exactly? What
Let,
the question?
let me share my screen. Just tell me what will be the output of it. So, okay, so I am creating on object. So if I print this object, you will get first name and last name, correct?
Yes, constant object.
So what will it will print?
It print whole object.
Yeah, correct.
Yes,
Okay, so you get this one.
yes.
So now my question is, you mentioned that we can't change the value. Okay, so if I do like this, then what it will print now? I'm changing first name.
And it will change. It will change the first name.
Okay, and why it will change? Means because of what reason it will change? Do you know?
Uh, because sorry, in object we that value uh, object works on reference address.
Mm-hmm.
That for that
So
reason I think.
yeah, correct, correct. That is not. This is the non-primitive. If you see, this is
Yes.
non-primitive. So non-primitive has a reference, okay? So
Yes, yes,
you
reference
cannot
address.
do like this. Const object dot you cannot do like
Yeah,
this one. So you cannot assign
yeah,
anything, but you can change the value of it.
yes, yes.
If you see, then you will get like this. Let me change it. Okay, so UI and Khan now. Okay, so
Okay.
now I want to restrict this. So I don't want to update it. So how can I restrict it? Do you know?
Uh, we use strict mode.
Hmm. Any other thing?
Mm,
So have you heard about object.seal, object.freeze?
no.
That we can use. You can note down this. So you can
Yes,
learn.
yes. Okay.
Okay.
Object dot.
Object.freeze and object.seal.
Object.
Okay. So okay, we'll move the next question. Okay. So tell me, so what is arrow function in JavaScript?
It's just like the normal function, but the arrow function have different style to write, and also the arrow function does not have this keyword of
Mhm.
itself, and uh, and this will introduce after year 6 JavaScript.
Correct.
The works is same as the normal function.
Correct. Okay. So what is spread operator and rest operator?
Spread operator and rest operator.
Yes.
Yes, through spread operator, we can get all the values of object or an array. If or we can say that the destructuring of object or array, something like
So
means we get
spread.
all the values of an object if we use spread operator. And
Okay.
a rest operator we use to pass the arguments, multiple arguments. Without writing individual arguments, we can use rest operator to pass it.
Yes. Correct. Okay. So what is destructuring then?
This is to get out the individual values from an object or an array. We can directly take out the value from like array. If we have 1 2 3 4 5, then we can directly take out the values through destructuring from array to individual variables. We can directly take out this.
So can you share your screen? I'm stopping. I will paste this question to you. Just open this JS fiddle first.
Okay, wait a
You can share your screen.
You give permission to
Okay. Can you ask for that permission? Multiple. Yeah, I have given to you.
can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see. The question I have pasted in the chat. You can copy from there and paste here. Okay. So I have an array. Okay, it is containing
Okay.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So now what I want output as one beginning of the two, means one will be there and seven at end. So how can I do this?
uh, we write array dot push 7,
Hmm.
and we write array dot unshift 1.
Okay. Any other way?
Um,
As you mentioned, like just before, for the spread operator, we can use.
Okay, we initialize another array, and we use 1 and 7 like this.
Can you print this? So,
So, so remove this.
yeah,
Right.
correct. Okay. Yeah, so that is correct. This is the way I want to ask you about spread object. Okay. So, can you write down example for closure? Have you heard about closure?
Closure. Yes, yes, yes.
No, comma, comma. Okay, you can multiply.
So in this, in closure, what happened that the child function will access the properties of ABC or the value from the parent function after the parent function executed.
Okay.
Means if parent function completely executed, then also the child function have access to the value of the.
So, yeah, I got it. So, how will that XYZ will know something is there too? Can you click on that tidy? There is a no, no, not there. Tidy. Yeah, click on that. Okay. So now, okay, tell me. So how that XYZ will know there is a two in ABC, and how you are able to access that XYZ directly? Can you run this? You will get error.
You can write like this.
Run again. Still you will get error. One mistake is there only. Small mistake.
Not getting it.
Okay, so what you mentioned that the inner function will have access of the parent one, correct?
Yes.
Okay, but you are calling your parent ABC2, correct? But what it will return if you print that ABC2, it will return the inner object because you are returning the object, inner function. Okay, to run that you have to call like that. You have to collect that reference to the another variable, and that variable you have to call. So now remove xyz6 from there. Remove that. Create one variable at line number 7 and assign ABC to it. Let result res. Okay, whatever. Okay, so now you have created ABC. Now we print a result. Console.log result. I will tell you what will happen. So it will return that function xyz. If you see, okay, you got this now. Okay, so you have access of A as a two now, but you are returning this function. So what you have to do? Called console.log result opening and closing parenthesis and pass one variable to it. Now pass 6. Run this now. Got it now? So this is how it will work. So this is the closure. Are you confused or you got this point?
I am just noting down.
No problem. It will
I,
be recording. It is recorded
yes.
already, so I can share the link, YouTube link with you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So yeah. So this is the way we call the closure actually.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So have you heard about event propagation,
No, sorry.
event bubbling, and event capturing? Have you heard?
Yeah, event bubbling. Yeah, I heard about that, but not getting exactly.
Okay. Okay, you can check later. Okay. So okay, I remove this all these things from here. Okay. So suppose I have an array and I want to take the sum of the all element of that array. So how can I do that? So it is okay if you not write the code. Just tell me what will be the your logic for it. So I
We
have
can
an
use
array.
reduce.
Yeah, reduce for use. Okay.
So
Any other thing we can use?
uh, we can use
We can use rest operator as well.
rest operator.
You can pass some to the your array and you will get that whole array into the rest object.
That actually I
Okay, no problem. So okay. So, okay. So have you heard of what are the things do you know about the ES6? Means what are the functions do you know about ES6? You might use it.
yes, that the introduction of late and const
Hmm.
arrow function
Yes.
and um,
We can use array functions.
may
We have too many array
yes
functions too.
added
Yeah,
map
that is also okay.
reduce filter
Yeah, correct.
that
Then we can use a module. We can import and export our modules.
yes important.
These are things came. Okay. So so we can move to JavaScript now. So I can share the few list of question with you in the chat or the mail as well. Okay. So we'll move to JavaScript, sorry, React now.
Okay.
So can you please tell me what is the virtual DOM in React?
Where
Hello.
yes uh,
Okay.
I
If you are not remembering, then it's okay. You can check it later on. So what is the class function and the function and component? What is difference between functional component and class component?
in functional component we can use hooks after 16.8 version they introduce hooks. So before that, the function components are stateless. Before that, class components only used in React, where we can be able to use the hook in the class components. But after introduction of hooks in function components, after 16.8 version,
Okay.
uh,
Yeah, so functional component get introduced after 16.8. So it has its
version
hooks to perform the similar kind of things like the lifecycle hooks in the class-based component. Okay, so can you please tell me the lifecycle for the functional component? What are the hooks are matched to the our class-based component, like the way component did mount or that. So to check the component did mount or not, so what hooks we use as compared to the class base? You might heard
in
about the,
class.
yeah, you might heard about the use state, use effect, all these
Yes,
things.
yes, use state effect.
And so I mean to say that when your functional component get loaded into the DOM, okay, something need to be run before your component will update or component update or mount for updating something. So what is the use of use state then?
In component, if any or any value change, or we want to get the any after any event we want to get a value, any value, and then we can use state to take down that value after every changes. We at the time we use state.
And what about use effect?
Sorry.
Use effect.
Use effect is another hook we which is uh, which is when we use effect, it takes a callback function and a dependency. Whenever the dependency changes, array of dependency, any dependency changes, the use effect will rerun. Other than that, the use effect only runs on the first time when the component renders. That the and whenever we want we want only to re-render our function whenever we it changes the value, then we can use effect,
Okay.
so that
Can we,
we pass a dependency in it, and whenever the dependency changes, only then the
okay, okay, correct. Okay. So can we use a multiple use effect in the functional component?
yes, we can use.
Okay. So what is props and state in the React?
uh, mm, mm, props is prop is like a properties which we can get from parent to child and
Okay.
child to parent also, but parent to child normally we use parent to child. If any properties that a parent have and another child component also want, then we can pass it through props. And the use state is a single component, mainly it is mainly for based on single component. So we can use state for a individual components and props for parent to child.
Okay. So in the React, the changes are unidirectional or bidirectional.
Unidirectional.
Okay. So what is unidirectional?
It goes from parent to child, then child to another child. That is
Okay.
unidirectional.
So if I want to do child to parent, then what I can do?
We can point out. We can use that function method to pass the values from child to parent through props, and another also we can use other hooks like context.
Okay.
Yeah.
Use context API we can use.
Sorry.
Use context API we use to make a
Yes, yes,
communication between. Okay, no
yeah, yeah.
problem. Okay, so we talked about the virtual DOM. Okay, so what is uncontrolled components? Have you heard about it?
Uncontrolled. Yes, I heard, but I'm not
No problem.
exactly getting.
Okay, so if I want to create an element in the React, so how can I create
What?
element? Element, I meant to say. So you might read like the React dot create element something. So this is the real, you can create your custom element. Okay. So I will tell you what is the exactly it is. So what will happen? Suppose you want to create a uh, div, and the ID will be your name, and the text will be something button. Okay, or click. So what you can do? You can create constant element like the react dot create element, and you can pass what type of the element you want to create. So I will put div over there, and what will be the id of it, then we can pass that id over there, and whatever is the text of it. So this is how we can use it, and we can pass the props as well with it. Suppose you want to pass some props to it. So when it will render now, so it will create a div id equal to your name, and the text will be click here like that. So this is the element dot create.
element of create.
Create element you can say, or element.
Okay.
Okay, so suppose I want to get a data from the some API. So how can I get that data in the React?
Uh, we can use async await, uh, or we can directly use fetch, and then we can use
Okay,
fetch method, or we can also use Axios, the inbuilt library we can use, through which we can get the data from API.
yes, yes. That is also one thing. So we can use we have multiple ways to get the data from that.
Yes.
That's correct. Okay. So what I was asking, I was supposed to ask you one coding question, but it is okay. I will give some links to you so you can do it. Okay. So to use a router outlet, means router in the React, what we have to do? What are the steps to add a router?
Uh, in the main in the
React
main
DOM router
component
we
first.
have, correct?
Yeah, yes, sorry.
React router DOM we have that we use.
Yes, React router, and we have to wrap the app component around browse router, browser, and then we can use any method to our main component after we wrap it with browse router
Okay.
in version 5.
Mhm.
And we can use it with
If I want to make it lazy loading, then what I need to do?
we can directly pass the we can directly import the component in the use lazy function.
So, okay, so for the lazy, you have to load your component not the way we do for the regular one. So we have to use dot then. So what will happen? So when with the help of dot then, it will be like the promise, like something. So when you click on that, then only it will load. So it will not get loaded as a default, as a eager loading we say.
Okay, okay, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah. So do you know about the reps in the React?
Yes, reference.
What is the use of it?
So mainly the use of refs to manipulate the DOM values.
Okay.
We can, like if user input something, or we can get directly the, or we can show any error or anything like that. We can use ref.
Correct. Any other thing about rep?
uh, and as the changes occurs, it does not re-render our whole component.
Mhm.
It directly update it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So have you used the keys in the React? What is the use of keys?
What is the use of?
Key, Key. In the loop where you have to use key. Suppose you have an object, to do object, and you want to list all the data of object, that object. So you have to use a key over there as a something ID.
Yes, yes, yes. Actually,
Basically what happens, so you have one object, okay, and you are iterating that object, and you are showing that data to the DOM, okay. So if you
Okay.
are not using the key, so what will happen? So every time whenever the component gets changes something, it will re-render. Okay. So because of that, what will happen? Every time that map will re-render. So with the help of key, it will track the is there something changed to the map object or not. If it is not get changed, so it kept it at it as it is. And suppose you added some new to do, then it will re-render whatever the new get added. So with the help of key, it will get track of it. So this is the
Okay.
use of it. So, so we have covered most of the questions. I think as a fresher, I don't want to ask you in the question into the deep. So, and I have been sharing something to you in the mail for the React and the JavaScript interpretations. So you will get a
Okay.
mail in
Okay.
some time. So anything you want to ask me?
Yeah, how much more I have to prepare for interview?
Uh, Okay, so what you can do, I will create this video and upload this video in some days. Okay, so after that you will get your questions answers as well. So whatever I have question you ask now, so you have given correct answer. Just to learn in the deep for the each question. So at least as a fresher, I think you should know about it in the deep as a little bit because now the everything is available to learn to each one. So instead of having little bit knowledge about each concepts, we'll be having some more knowledge.
Okay.
So I will share the detail with you as well and some links to you to learn from there.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Any other question or was?
Mhm. No, it's all fine.
Okay. So
Great
you,
experience with you.
yeah, no problem.
My first interview.
Yeah, so
First
that's why I have
technical
started this.
interview.
Yeah, actually, that's why I have started this because too many people are not afraid because of the interview. So if I take in the free, so at least they will get some idea how the
Yeah,
interview
yeah, yeah.
happens.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah, so that's why I have been taking this.
Great initiative.
Yeah. So what will I
Thanks a
do?
lot.
I will share some links with you in the mail and to Java playlist as well to learn each concept. Okay.
Okay.
Okay then. Yeah. Bye bye. Thank you.
Okay.
I will
Bye. Thank
I
you.
will
Thank you.
create this video and upload as well, so you will get your video as well in the
Okay.
you
Okay.
or the
Thank you.
YouTube. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye.